So welcome. This is mobile device programming. Today or now we're going to be dealing with lab 5. In this lab 5, you're going to be learning how to connect our app to the database, because sometimes you have data you're writing on the app which you'd like to have it recorded in a database for ease of access and retrieving reports. This is an exercise that is common for most apps. Therefore, it is very important for us to learn how to go about it. So we revisit the issue of Firebase a little bit because it's some configuration we have to do there. Set up the database from for our project. So you can search for Firebase, click on Firebase. It will lead you to where we get started. You can click on that. Then you can go to the console, select your project, and from your project now select real-time database. Remember last time we dealt with authentication. Now we're dealing with database, real-time database. Once you select real-time database, your project will show up and you can set up the first database, and you can actually go ahead and create. You can create data. I've already done that because I've created this name, the first data item there. If you have not created your database, you can also create it from here and click on create new database, and from that database now you'll of course sometimes you'll be charged if it goes beyond a certain level, but for us we are just using it for demo purposes. So you create the database. I've created one, and there's a field called name which I can enter values here. So if you go to the second tab, you're going to see their rules. There's something I may want us to consider there. I've already changed mine to true and true. I'd like you also to change yours. These are a little bit risky for security purposes, but for purposes of learning you can set this to true and true, just in case, so that you're able to operate with ease for now. But ideally it's not the best thing for security purposes. Once you have done that setup, then I think we are good to go. So you go back to the console. In the console now, we remind ourselves it's the activity home. It is from the activity home where we need now to do entry of data, where you can then submit that data to the database. I've only used one field here. Okay, there are several of these. We have the text view here, and we have the button here, and then we have the edit text here. In this edit text, we plan to enter the name, assuming that is only required, the data that's required to be collected is name in this case. And then once you click on in submit, that name is recorded in the database here. Like you can see, car is recorded. Well, having shown you that, then it means that we need to connect this activity with the code, so that once we click on submit, it can actually do that record, and that is going to happen in the home activity.java, because that's why we actually have the Java file that corresponds to activity home. So we click on that, and then now we can go back to tools, select Firebase, and then remember we can use this assistant to hide and view from Firebase. From the assistant, we can access the particular options that we want. In this case, we want a real-time database, and there we are. Select it. Then you can select getting started, and there we are. So we have connected the app to Firebase. We have also dealt with the dependencies. We dealt with them in lab 2. Then you configure the real-time database rules. We have done that. We have changed to true just for access. We have granted the public access, but that's something you can change, because a little bit security-wise is not the best. Then you start setting up the code for writing to the database. Here you copy this code, so that you can create a database handle that will be able to write up. This is meant now to obtain a database, creates a database handle, a database object, and a reference. Basically, it's meant to write a message to the database. And this message, you can see my reference, the set value. This is what now we will need to copy here. Why do we copy it? Because we have not come to reporting. We're just doing the reading. Reporting in any case is not as is also a simplistic procedure. So if we come to our code here, you see we need to add data. We define the database references, database reference, db reference, and then it's like you have database here for that Firebase database and database reference by ref. So you define db and db reference. Then edit text. So take note of that name change. We have the controls. Remember the controls which are here in our this text. Excuse me. We can hide this one now. You can see this edit text and this submit button are the ones for which we are writing this edit text submit button. And then within the constructor now we initialize the edit text, and we initialize the button, and also initialize the Firebase database and the reference. If there is a problem DB reference, if you find this thread, it indicates that something has not been done. If you scroll up, it means there is a class that has not been imported here. What you need to do now is to click on import class, or just do Alt Shift Enter what is indicated here. So those are faster in keyboard can do that. So I import this class. So I click on import and the class is imported here, as you can see. Database, of course, even Firebase had the same issue. This one I had commented to illustrate that. I already imported, only that I had commented it just to illustrate. Okay, so once you have initialized the database object and the reference, it is time now to work with the click listeners. So the click listener for this one is for submit button, and then on the click event, you have the function there which is set to DB, or the method is set to DB. We want to set data to DB. So that code we want to copy here. This the code you have seen that for real-time database somewhere. Yeah, this code. Already you have started seeing part of it. The part to do with creating these objects, you have seen it. But this part you have not seen. The one now had to do with writing. So when you get there, we just set to DB. We get the name that we want. We get the name from the edit name text using this construct, and then from there we invoke the set value method that now sets the value, this value that has been is held in name, to the database in the name field, in the field called going by the same value called name. So set value, and then now we can indicate that we can have this to tell the user that whatever he has sent to the database has been correctly inserted. It's as simple as that. So once you run this in the simulator, we should be able now to log in and of course do the database with the information required. Let's see how that works. So we have our emulator here. You can be using your phone. So remember, I need to log in now. Cats dot. Do I go with that? Let me go with E Kenyanjui at karo.ac.ke as my email. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Login. Now it logs in. Then I can enter my name. Karare, and then I can click on submit. Then I can see inserted successfully. If we now go back to, you can see already it has changed, Karare. So so it's as simple as that. Once you do that, then you're successful in you can expand that, you can include more fields, and eventually you'll be able now to write to the DB. Thank you. That brings us to the end of this lab. Sorry.